Okay, so I'm going to go back here to this, I believe it's the Move UV Shell tool. I jump into Edge mode. I just want to start seeing what I could stitch together. Okay, so something a little bit peculiar here. You'll notice that these two edges line up with this. These two edges line up with this. Now, like I said, I'm using dual monitors, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to make sure that you guys can see both views of what I'm seeing. I want to mouse over this in order to discover where these faces go, and I'm just going to rotate around my model and can't really find where these faces go, so let's take a look. Okay, so I found it right here. Right, so what I'm actually going to do, I'll just select object mode, and I'm going to drag his head forward. Now, it's going to be easy later as long as I just move this to just drag it right back to where it was. So it seems to me like these are the four faces that were on the bottom of the neck here. So we could address these in a number of ways. We really don't even need to worry about them because they're going to be hidden underneath the clothing here. But just for the sake of demonstration, let's take a look. We have these two UVs and these two UVs, which each correspond with a different side of the head, or the neck here really, because this is the neck starting to wrap down. What I want to do to handle this situation is cut the UVs at the edges. I'm going to jump into edge mode in my viewport, click on this edge, and then click on this edge here. Sorry, I'm splitting it the wrong way. Click on this edge, click on this edge here. And now I'm going to go to polygons, cut UV edges. What this is going to do if we jump into shell mode is this going to give us two separate UV shells which we can manipulate. I'll now go into edge mode and see which one lined up with this right side here. And I will rotate it. And now line that up there. So I'll stitch these together. Next, I want to jump back in, and I'm going to go here. I'll notice that this now lines up here. Sew those together. Okay, now I want to bring this guy over here. I want to bring him up for the ear. And I could go back into actually full screen just so you could see it better. And you could really notice the workflow now. Now we're starting to really get into the good stuff, because I could do something like this, sew this together. And now if I go to optimize this, there's still some distortion. So we're gonna need those outer shapes again. Still, so we're missing a few outer shapes. So what I'm gonna do at this point is I'm just gonna go along here. This is one of our outer shapes for this ear. And when I refer to outer shapes, it's not really a technical term that I know of. What I'm just saying here is that I'm trying to do the outside before I do the inside. Then when I go to optimize it, we're not going to see that sort of distortion anymore. And I think this ear is actually at the point where we can stitch this in. And so you see what I mean. But for this, just rotate it to sort of fit the contour there. And when I stitch that together, now watch what happens when I optimize it. See, we get a nice, clean, no folding of the geometry of the UVs there. Just a nice, clean ear layout. Where before, if you're trying to work on an inner shape before you do the full outer shape, it's going to start distorting your UVs when you try to optimize them, and that's not good. Let's see, what do we have here? Looks like we have another part of the neck here. My way to handle that would just be to jump right in. To do that there, stitch that up. Now this component looks like it's going to go here, so we'll just click that, drag that over. Alright, now we could just really start dragging that out here, optimize it up. We'll start finishing up this ear. And one thing you'll notice is my workflow stays pretty much the same when I'm UVing. I'm really bouncing, to the same tools. I'm moving, rotating. Sometimes we scale. I haven't scaled here yet. just, you know, sew this up. But scaling obviously works. You just hit the R key, and you would just scale up the UV if you needed to, or down the UV depending on what you're trying to do. Again, rotate it so it fits mainly the contour, just so we don't cause any issues. We want to make things sort of as easy on the computer as possible, but there are certain times also when we need to let the computer sort of figure some of that information out as well in this process. For example, I could put something, let's just show you an example. Okay, so if these two objects are supposed to be connected, right, what I could do, I could put one here, right, not really line them up. Now you have a mushed UV, and now you're relying on this optimize tool to do that for you. But, you know, if we could line it up, make it easier for the computer, we may get better results. It all depends on the situation. Now this is part of our nose here, and I'm noticing here that this needs to be connected to that. Is this our full nose? Doesn't look like it. Okay, so we missed a piece here for the nose. So this is one of those cases where we don't overlap the UVs because we're in this first quadrant here. Just do it like that. And now, okay, and this is a part of the ear up here. I can move that there. Sew that. Move my nose. Sew that. I'm going to sew that. And now I'm just going to grab the optimize tool, make the brush really, really big, and optimize everything. So now, for some evenness, sometimes we could go around with the sew tool, right? Drag that up there, optimize it, right? But it all depends how we want it to look. So if we feel that something's distorting the object, right? Now this is the situation I was talking about before. You don't really want to make it a ball, because now watch what happens. See how it's just morphing around? You're sort of, that's sort of like, because now all that 3D information is there, you're not supposed to overlap the UVs. That's something that we don't want to do. We just want to sew it to the point that it's pretty even around here. And now basically what I could do to show myself the first quadrant, I could just turn on that texture, maneuver this back here. Alright, I know which quadrant that is now, so I can turn off that texture. And I just really want to select the shell, move it around. Oops. Okay, if your UV editor sort of is wonky like that, close out of it. Right, make sure you save the project. Jump back into the UV editor. Okay. So that has happened before. Sort of happening again. So let's take a look here. Alright, object mode, click off, select this object. Okay, that object's selected. Select this shell. Okay, now you'll see we can move it again and stuff. Alright, and now this is, we just want to put it pretty much in the center there. Okay, now in the next tutorial, and actually we're a little bit too close to that y-axis, so I just want to sort of, if I could give it a little rotation here. Nice. Okay, in the next tutorial I'm going to show you how to actually start painting a texture on that.